Now, it took the ruling party almost no time to end a community's 3-year run-in with the dark side. Now, that's right, Kagiso's been without electricity for nearly 40 months. But now that we are nearing the elections, the ANC has shifted gears and kicking into hyperdrive. We all saw the circulation of a poster on ANC colours, ANC banner, saying that Kagiso is now finally in the light. We're going to be chatting in just a moment to Stefanie Fick about this particular situation. She's Executive Director at eNCA. Stefanie, good to have you with us this morning. Now, one question that many were asking when they saw that ANC poster making the round, that Kagiso is finally coming into the light, is who actually paid for that? Who actually is responsible for that? Is it the ANC as a party, or is it the government, meaning South Africans with taxpayers' money?
No, it is a good question because, it is good news in the sense that, the people of Kagiso finally has got power. Why it took so long is a totally different question. But I think the distrust come in is the fact that you can't see the line between, the ruling party, which is the ANC, and then the government. It is the government's role to look after the people of South Africa. It is the Gauteng province role to govern the province in the best interest of Gauteng. But the timing is a bit suspect. And as far as I understood the news, it was Gauteng provincial government. So it's a bit unfair of the ANC to then say that they are the ones that are making sure that people are getting power. The question is, there's so many other problems. Hopefully they can also solve them in the year that is left before election starts.
So talk to us about, I guess, where you blur the lines, or if you can blur the lines, because then one would say, but it is then an ANC-led government. So if you're taking the installation of the 6 transformers and that credit then goes to the ANC because it is an ANC-led government, then that should work. How do you respond to that?
Well, this is how I see it. Government has always been the administration. So it should actually be, it is not about the ANC, it's not about the ruling party, it's not about politics. It's about governing the province, it's about governing South Africa in the best interest of the people, no matter who you are and for which political party you vote for. Now, because of, doesn't matter who the ruling party is, policy and that type of thing will probably come from the ruling party. But I think what we've seen in recent years, and you see that specifically in Parliament, is that there's an extremely fine line between, governing the country and then following party lines. We've seen it in Parliament where people say you either toe the line or you're going to lose your position as MPs. And if you also look at Parliament, Parliament is there to have oversight over the executive. And it shouldn't matter which party you are, their duty in terms of the Constitution is holding them to account. So to come back to, for example, this example we are talking about, is that this should not be about politics. This should be about governing the Gauteng province in the best interest of the people. The people are each and every one of us. Doesn't matter which political party you vote for. So political parties should not use this opportunity to say, but vote for me because we're going to make this happen. The administration should be separate from any political, party's manifesto or whatever they want to accomplish.
And the big question is, why now? Yes, we are entering an election year. It's taken 3 years, but now the residents of Kagiso and the country need to celebrate because this has now finally been done. At least that is, the expectation of the reaction that South Africans ought to have. But perhaps point out what South Africans need to look out for as we near the elections, because ultimately you want communication that's, first of all, honest, and you want communication that is going to be consistent even after a particular party, whichever it may be, is elected come next year. What ought South Africans to be looking out for during this time as we near elections, so that they are clear even in their own thinking and the messaging that they're getting out of those actions?
So lately, I think we can agree we are going to be bombarded with politicking. We are going to be bombarded with promises. But you know what? I think as civil society, what we've learned is that, there's a saying, the proof is in the pudding. There's a lot of talk, but less of doing. And I think, it doesn't matter what political parties are going to say in the next year in coming to elections, is where are we and what has been done? So what are the problems in this country? Corruption. How far are we with eradicating corruption? How far are we in bringing down our crime stats? I mean, we've heard about what happened to the minister on the N3. That type of thing happens to ordinary South Africans each and every day, each and every minute of a day, each and every second. So how far are we with combating corruption? How far are we with not just giving transformers to communities, but also giving communities access to water, electricity infrastructure? How far are we with creating jobs so that people are not, they have to go each and every month to go get a grant, that they can provide for their families because we are creating jobs and we are, spreading the wealth, that the wealth is not just, in a minority of a group of people. So when you listen to these promises, I think you need to look at historically how many promises that was made the previous years. How many of them has been fulfilled? And not just in the last year, but how many of them has been fulfilled for, each and every South African? I do think that we need to, we're not going to get away from politics. And whether you think politics, like me, is a necessary evil, and I sometimes think that if you give the people the power, then I think the country will be in a better position. But the irony is that the power is with the people. We are the ones responsible. You get the government you vote for. So be very careful. I am thankful that the people of Kagiso got a transformer, so we should not forget that. But I do blame the political party for using that as an opportunity to say, but it's us, it's us. And that's why I said tongue in cheek, that if this political party can, solve so many problems, hopefully they can solve the whole of South Africans' problems as a, in going to elections. Won't that be wonderful?
And thank you so much for your insight and your input this morning. That's Arta's Executive Director, Stefanie Fick. And timing also there is very important. Don't take 3 years to do it if you can do it in, the first 6 months. But thank you so much for that input. As we near the elections, some are saying this is perhaps the equivalent of the T-shirts and the caps and the food baskets that many will be getting as we get closer to that time.